I say I'm not enough, and you say I am so strong and powerful and wise and compassionate. The question is, who are you going to believe? The topic today is this gift called life, and life has a capital L. And Ernest Holmes equates life with a capital L to God with a capital G, because they are the same. If we're living from that place within that says, I am enough, no matter how much I get done today, no matter what I do, no matter what kind of mood I'm in today, I am enough, because I am made in the image and likeness. And you can fill in love, wisdom, goodness, peace, God, joy, whatever those qualities are. That means you are living from that big L, that gift of life. You know, we come from that capital L life, God. We come from God. We are immersed in God. We are one with God. And we are each individualized gifts. We have the greatest gift, an unfathomable gift inside of us. And that is the gift of life. Now, just being alive is not enough. When we talk about recognizing this thing called life, it's about living from that aliveness. Now, our heart goes boom, 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 and we're alive. But if we're going to live from that place of aliveness, fully live being alive, we have to open up completely to this thing called life. We have to live. Now, I know that Ernest Holmes talks a lot about love is the essential aspect of life and aliveness, so that's from the heart. But if you go back to the days, thousands of years to the days of the Bible, it talks about, in Jeremiah, the prophet Jeremiah says, if you want to find me, God, you'll find me if you search for me with all your heart. And I'll just add, because that's where I am. If I asked you right now, well, point to yourself, you'd point here, not here. This is where our aliveness lives. And we have to learn to keep ourselves connected to that thing that says, I am enough. We have a current spiritual guru teacher that I love, Brené Brown, who talks about the wholeheartedness of life. And she says it's about living as if you are worthwhile. You are important. You matter. That you're connected every moment to compassion and creativity. You're connected. And that's what aliveness and wholeheartedness means. About 5 years ago, there was an article in the Science of Mind magazine called Heart Power. And it said our true nature is to have an open heart, as much as it is the true nature of a flower to open to sunlight. Well, what do we open to? What is it that makes you feel fully alive? And if you think of that aliveness that gives you the goosebumps, it's the wonder and the magic of this thing called life. But if you think of falling down, that can make you feel alive too, because there's two ends of the spectrum here. And if we really want to live this gift of this thing called life, it's learning to braid together the experiences of life to give us great understanding and wisdom. Do you know what I mean? Braiding it together so we can understand that. Well, I'm going to read you a quote by Mark Nepo. I love this. He says, everything we go through opens us, everything, to a greater sense of being if we don't linger in the ruins. Do you know what he's talking about? I do. Wah, 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 poor me, wah, 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 poor me, same story over and over. We have to make a commitment, not only to recognize this thing called life as a gift, but we have to accept it. Do you know that nature's The spirit of why can't I know those two words, I want them in a certain place, but I can't think of where, so I better change what I want to say. It's life's nature, spirit's nature to give. In fact, Ernest Holmes calls spirit, God, divine givingness. It only wants to give, but it has to have a bowl of acceptance. And when we don't accept that we are important, that we have a gift to share. It doesn't matter what the gift is. It doesn't matter how finely tuned you have it. We each have gifts to share that make life better. We need to learn to claim those gifts. One of the beautiful poets, Mary Oliver, says, okay, so what are you going to do with this one wild, precious life that you've been given? What are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with that precious thing called life? Here's how she answers. She calls it, I think I put the wrong paper in here, so I can't tell you what it's called, but right now. It's very sad because it's a really great poem, and it's just not here. Oh, it is. It's right here. We have to learn how to balance it all, to be okay with what isn't and okay with what is. So it's called The Journey. One day, you knew finally what you had to do, and you began. Though voices around you kept shouting and shouting and shouting their bad advice, though the whole house began to tremble, and you felt the old tug at the ankles. Mend my life, like fix my life before you fix yours. No, I'm not going to do that anymore. And you don't stop because you did what you had to do. Though the wind pried its stiff fingers at the very foundations, though the melancholy was terrible, it was already late enough, and it was a wild night, and the road full of fallen branches and stones. Have you ever been here? Have you ever been here to this place where it's like, oh, I gotta do this, and you could just feel that spirit, that God pressure pushing you, pulling you, carrying you, whatever it is, because you knew what you had to do. You accepted that place, this journey of this thing called life. Little by little, as you left their voices behind, the stars began to burn through the sheets of clouds, and there was a new voice, which you slowly recognized as your own, that kept you company as you strode deeper and deeper into the world of yourself, determined to do the only thing you could do, determined to save the only life that you could save. How many of you know that push, that urge that gets you through when the little you doesn't know how to do it? Have you felt that pressure of that urge of the divinity within us that knows that we are here to become, we are a work in progress. We're not finished yet, do you think? I know I'm not yet, but I keep unwrapping myself, and I keep liking the person I unwrap better and better, because we already have everything within us. We are, that intuition, that wisdom, that gift within us is beyond anything we could ever imagine. It's all there. But we've been given this thing called life, but it's to progressively evolve till we get back to recognizing and knowing that we are one with everything, with spirit, with all of life. But we have to get there. There's a story, a Polynesian story, which I think tells it very perfectly about this journey we call life. The Polynesians say the world began when Ta'aora, which is their name for the Creator, woke and found himself inside a shell. He stretched and he pushed, and finally he broke the shell, and the earth was created. And he kept growing and growing, and again he found himself in another shell. Have you been there? Again in another shell. And he still stretched and grew, and he broke the shell and the moon was created. And of course he kept growing and growing until the breaking forth created the stars. And he still kept growing. And I think that's the wisdom being given to us about this beautiful gift of life we've been given. We're not here to be done yet. We are here to be alive in our work in process. We are to find within us that spark of goodness, that life force that I called the God pressure, and Ernest Holmes called it that too, that God pressure that pushes us into our evolution. The problem is we have control over that God pressure. That's our free will. And we can regulate the flow. And if we don't use ourselves in a way to keep us growing and evolving and thinking and connecting and being more connected to the things that matter than the things that don't. That's the big deal. And how do we tell what matters? I'll tell you what matters. It's about what we feel in our hearts that matter. What we feel in our hearts that we've developed and honed to be the intuitive voice of compassion and love and understanding and goodness. That's what it is. That's what matters. To be fully, yes, at times fully awake and alive, and other times not. To be, as being human, we go in and out a lot, right? Sometimes we're really on key, on purpose, on tune, in time, and other times we're just lazy slugs. And that's okay. That's part of the process. We have to be okay with all of ourselves in all of our ways. I know we saw our family yesterday, and my daughter-in-law was saying to me, she was very, very she was in a deep frustration because some deep friend, she was having a hard time having conversation with them because they were so adamant. You know how the world is right now, so divided, so adamant, not willing to have a conversation about life. And she said, I feel traumatized. These are people I love and I can't talk with them. And it's making me so upset. I'm sure many of us have felt that way. It's just, we get upset because we want connection. We're made for connection. And it's very frustrating. And I said, well, what's right and true is what's in your heart. You love these people. Do you want them out of your life? No. I said, no, but you have to put your foot down and just say, you know what? I love you. But I want to change the subject. I want to talk about something different because this one is not working for me. It's not bringing out the best in me. Well, we can listen, but we can't have those people, those voices saying, mend my life. Listen to me above you. It doesn't work. What's going to work in our life right now is if we have the dignity for ourselves and other people, that we can bless ourselves and other people. We are not here to be alike. When I told you a few weeks ago, I went to the Mark Nepo workshop, and he always has circles for his workshops because he says every person in the circle has a different perspective on life. And we're here to learn about the different perspectives in life and to listen and to speak and to listen and to speak, to teach and to practice and to learn and to be. That's why we're here. So what I want for each of us today is, if that God, can you feel right now that God pressure in you? It's an endless practice. Every single day. We've got to find it. We've got to find it. We've got to work it. We've got to say, oh yeah, I am the fountain of life. Oh yeah, I forgot. I forgot I have this wellspring of knowledge and wisdom and goodness in me. I've got to let it flow and let it be. I'm pretty tight. What do I need to do? The Heart Math did studies about the wisdom of the heart. It's amazing. It's a beautiful study of how the wisdom of the heart knows things way before they happen. It's an intuition that's way beyond what we can even imagine. And they've studied it. It's there. We know things if we give that wisdom a chance because we're connected to all of life. So today, the thing I'd like for us to do is know we have this gift called life that is God. We need to recognize it. We need to accept it, because we can accept or reject it. That's our free will. Then we need to open it. Take time every day to open, just open. Accept life as it is. Learn, braid things together, make sense of things, to use it. But in the end, the most important thing, and I say this every week because I really, really mean it, the essential ingredient in life is love. That is. And it doesn't mean mamby-pamby love. It means love that is compassionate and understanding. You can have some of that too. But it's the essential ingredient. And if we know the law of circulation, the ever spiraling upward, we have to share of ourselves. We can't live. And Court, you shared so beautifully. And yourself, he does improvisation too. He leads that. You could tell. He's so fun just to listen to him. But I mean, that's kind of how life is contagious. We love that joyful aspect you have, Court. Thank you. But we have to be part of that life and give of ourselves in amazing ways. There is so much to be thankful for if we open our eyes and listen. I'm going to ask you to stand, because in this place, or unravel yourself where you are. I don't care, but we got to unlock ourselves, unravel ourselves. If we want to be this full-flowing fountain of spirit, I just want you to say, I am the fountain of life. I am open to life's blessings. I am worthy. I am enough. And when I'm enough, I can see you're enough. We need each other to create a better world. And just say to yourself, you don't have to say it out loud, but just say, I know what matters. I know what matters. Just to yourself, because what matters to each and every one of us is going to be just a little tiny bit different. But feel that, because your heart just won't be beating like this. It's going to feel awake and alive. I know what matters. Now say, I know what matters. I'm a blessing. I'm blessed. I love my life. I'm thankful for life. And so it is. And give the person next to you, just give their hands a little squeeze and just say, thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. And before you sit down, I want you to think of one beautiful thing you're thankful for. Just think of something you're thankful for and share it. Just share it through your beingness. You don't even have to speak. Just share it and feel it as it goes out. And it absolutely circles, fills this room, and goes out and permeates the world. Our blessings matter. Thank you all. I love you all. And so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you.